What would you do if, after 30 years of marriage, your wife chose another man, and your own son supported her decision? I'm Frank. I'm 65 years old, and 3 months ago, I discovered that everything I thought I knew about loyalty, love, and family was built on a lie. This is the story of how one Sunday morning destroyed my world, and how that destruction saved my life. I woke up to silence, not the peaceful kind you appreciate after decades of marriage, but the hollow kind that crawls under your skin and whispers that something fundamental has shifted in your world. The smell of brewing coffee filled the kitchen, that familiar ritual I'd performed every morning for 35 years as an electrician, and now 3 years into retirement. Anna's voice drifted from upstairs, talking on the phone with someone. Her laugh sounded different, lighter, younger. I should have known then. She'd left her laptop open on the living room table, the screen glowing with Facebook messages. Anna had embraced social media in ways I never could, always reconnecting with old friends, sharing photos of our grandchildren, planning little adventures I'd grown too comfortable to fully appreciate. I was just going to close it, save the battery, a simple gesture I'd done 1,000 times before. That single click shattered 30 years of my life. The name at the top of the message thread made my chest tighten. Mark Coleman. Her college boyfriend. The one she'd dated before we met. The one whose name occasionally surfaced in old stories about the road not taken. His latest message burned into my vision.
Can't stop thinking about last night. You still have that fire in you, Anna.
My hands trembled as I read her reply.
You always knew how to light it, didn't you?
The coffee mug slipped from my fingers, crashing against the hardwood floor we'd installed together 15 years ago. The sound echoed through our empty house like a gunshot. I scrolled up with shaking fingers, my heart hammering so hard I could taste copper in my mouth. Months of messages, photos I'd never seen, Anna laughing in restaurants I'd never been to, wearing dresses I'd never complimented, looking alive in ways I hadn't seen in years.
Frank's a good man,
she'd written to him.
But he's forgotten how to see me as anything more than his wife.
But that 3-letter word contained everything I'd failed to understand about the woman I'd shared my life with. The worst discovery came in a message thread that mentioned our son, David.
David understands why I need this. He says I deserve to be happy after all these years of feeling invisible.
My own son, 26 years old, married, father of my 2 grandchildren, had become an accomplice in my betrayal. When Anna came downstairs an hour later, the broken coffee mug still scattered across the floor, she took one look at my face and knew. How long? My voice sounded foreign, hollow. She sat across from me at our kitchen table, the same table where we'd shared thousands of meals, helped David with homework, planned our retirement dreams. Her hands folded in her lap, and for a moment, she looked like the uncertain young woman I'd fallen in love with 40 years ago.
7 months,
she whispered. Why? The silence stretched between us like a chasm.
Because, Frank, you stopped seeing me years ago. I became your wife, your housekeeper, your retirement plan. But I stopped being Anna, the woman who had dreams, who wanted adventure, who needed to feel desired, not just managed.
Her words cut deeper than any blade ever could. That evening, my hands shook as I dialed David's number, not from age, from the terrible realization that I might be losing more than just my marriage.
Dad, I wondered when you'd call.
No surprise in his voice, no concern, just weary resignation. You knew.
Mom's been unhappy for years, Dad. She needed someone to listen.
And you thought this was the solution? My voice cracked like I was 13 again. The pause stretched too long.
Dad, When's the last time you asked Mom about her day and actually listened? When's the last time you surprised her with anything that wasn't practical?
His questions hit like physical blows because I couldn't answer them. Somewhere in the routine of 3 decades, I'd stopped seeing Anna as the woman who used to sing off-key in the shower, who dreamed of visiting Ireland, who could make me laugh until my stomach hurt. So you think betrayal is justified?
I think Mom deserves to feel alive before it's too late.
After he hung up, I sat in my recliner, the same chair I'd occupied every evening for 15 years, and tried to understand how I'd become the villain in my own life story. The divorce was surprisingly civil. Anna didn't fight for more than her share. I didn't contest anything. We were 2 people who'd shared a life, but had forgotten how to share our hearts. David visited once during those dark months, bringing my granddaughter Emma. At 6 years old, she had the brutal honesty that adults learn to soften.
Daddy says you and Grandma forgot how to make each other happy.
She told me, while we built with blocks on my living room floor. Something like that, sweetheart.
My friend Sarah has 2 houses now. She says it's not so bad once you get used to it.
After they left, I walked through my empty house, our empty house, and took inventory. 65 years old, retired, divorced, estranged from my only child, living in a museum of a life I'd apparently sleepwalked through. I could have stayed broken. But life, it turns out, wasn't done with me yet. That's when I made the decision that saved me. I sold the house and every memory it contained, bought a small condo with no history of taken-for-granted love, started volunteering at the community center, teaching electrical skills to people who appreciated what I had to offer. That's where I met Carol. She was a widow with dirt under her fingernails and laugh lines that spoke of a life fully lived.
You look like a man who's seen some hard times,
She said, our first day working together in the center's garden. I laughed, actually laughed, for the first time in months. Is it that obvious?
I've worn that expression myself. Divorce or death?
Divorce. You?
Death. Both have their own kind of grief.
For the first time since Anna left, I didn't feel invisible. Carol and I have been together 2 years now. We're not married. Neither of us needs that paper. But we're committed to something I never had with Anna, truly seeing each other. Every morning, Carol asks about my dreams, not just my plans, but the dreams I had as a young man that I'd buried under decades of responsibility. I ask her the same. We plan small adventures, laugh at each other's stories, and treat every day like the gift it is. David slowly came back into my life. Last month, he brought both grandchildren to meet Carol. Watching her with Emma and Michael, seeing how naturally she engaged with their questions and curiosity, I finally understood what Anna had been trying to tell me. I had been managing our life instead of living it. Anna married Mark last spring. David was his best man. It hurt, but I understood. My son hadn't chosen Mark over me. He'd chosen his mother's happiness and the courage to speak difficult truths. I can't say I'm grateful for the betrayal, but I can say this. It forced me to examine a life I'd been living on autopilot for too many years. For 30 years, I'd been a husband by my father's definition. Provider, protector, faithful presence. I thought showing up was enough. I was wrong. Love requires more than presence. It requires attention. It requires seeing your partner as more than the role they fill in your life. It requires curiosity that doesn't end after the wedding vows. I'm 67 now. Carol is 65. We know this is probably our last love story, and that knowledge makes us treasure every ordinary moment. We don't take our time for granted because we understand how precious and limited it is. Sometimes I think about Anna and wonder if she found what she was looking for. I hope she did. Despite everything, I want her to be happy. But mostly, I think about second chances and how life can surprise you with new beginnings even when you think your story is over. If you're over 60 and feel unseen in your relationship, this is your wake-up call. Ask your partner about their dreams. Listen to their answer. Remember why you fell in love in the first place. And if you're like me, if you've already lost that love through your own blind spots and complacency, know this: you can love again. You can be curious again. You can wake up excited about tomorrow. The end of one story doesn't mean the end of all stories. Sometimes, it just means you're finally ready to write a better one. You think 30 years means permanence, until one day, it means history. What you do with the years you have left, that's your real legacy. It's not the betrayal that defines you, but the choice of what you do after. At 67, I'm learning that wisdom often comes disguised as heartbreak. The woman who broke my heart by leaving taught me how to love the woman who healed it, by staying. Anna was right about one thing. I had forgotten how to see her. What she didn't know, what I didn't know, was that I could learn to see again. I just needed someone who believed I was worth seeing clearly. Carol sees me. And finally, after 67 years on this earth, I see myself too. What would you do if you realized you'd been sleepwalking through the most important relationship in your life? Share your story below. Sometimes the comment section becomes the most honest conversation we'll have all day.